UK and Bahrain have enjoyed a close and enduring friendship dating back to 1820, when a treaty of protection was signed between the British government and Sheikhs of Bahrain. In 1928, the Royal Air Force RAF began surveying the southern coast of the Arabian Gulf, where established a number of airfields and flying boat bases. The cooperation between the RAF and the Sheikhs included granting the RAF use of the airfield in Manama and later on in Maharak once the new airspace was built. For over 80 years, the RAF has played an active role in the defense of Bahrain. During World War II, the RAF undertook the defense of the kingdom, while donation from residents contributed to purchase of 10 spitFire aircrafts operated by the RAF. This exhibition illustrates the shared aviation heritage of Bahrain and the UK and centers on an iconic World War II spitFire provided by the RAF Museum. The British Embassy and British Council had a reception ceremony to mark the bicentenary of relations binding Bahrain and the United Kingdom. The celebration was attended by Foreign and Commonwealth Office Minister for the Middle East and North Africa, Tobias Elwood, Bahrain Authority for Culture and Antiques Culture and Art Director Sheikh Khalid bint Mohammed Al Khalifa, Foreign Ministry Assistant Under Secretary Dr. Zafar Al Amran, and the British Ambassador Simon Martin. Sheikh Khalid bint Mohammed Al Khalifa held the bicentenary of solid relation binding Bahrain and the UK, thanking all of those who contributed to the success of the Spitfire Expo at the museum. Elwood stressed deep-rooted bilateral relations, expressing delight at visiting Bahrain to have a taste of its civilization and culture. He lauded steadily growing relations, adding that the UK-Bahrain Joint Working Group focuses its effort on consolidating social, cultural, political, and economic relations.
Well, this is a wonderful celebration of the bond between our countries going back 200 years. And for those of us that visit Bahrain on a regular basis, we're familiar of the strength of that bond. But there is a new generation growing up that perhaps isn't so familiar. So celebrating 200 years in the spirit in which we're doing this, with 200 events, is a great opportunity to share that knowledge, that understanding, that experience with a new generation that's coming through that can recognize the depth of the history that we have, the shared history we have together. Sure. Well, I'm actually here at the same time to hold a working group where ministers from both Britain and from Bahrain come together and discuss a variety of issues, from security to defense to hydrocarbons to education, health, and how we can commercially move forward in the prosperity agenda, but also support each other and discuss regional matters as well. Bahrain is a very, very strong ally of Britain, and that's an example of how we can move further and keep that bond very strong indeed. Just say I'm delighted to be here at the museum. The Spitfire that is here is an example, one small but important illustration of that bond. 80 years that we celebrate the Spitfire. It played an important role in the Second World War, and I didn't realize that Bahrain actually gifted 6 of these aircraft, paid for them, and put the Bahraini symbols on them that were then used in the Second World War. Again, a great example of that spirit, that strength between our two countries.
Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
The Spitfire in the room next door to me here is an original 1945 Supermarine Spitfire. It is identical to the 6 Spitfires that were funded by the Bahraini public in the 1940s, and it is painted in the colours of one of those Spitfires. Those 6 have all now sadly departed, so this is the nearest thing we've got to one of those original Spitfires, which helped the fight for peace during the Second World War. It is the most marvellous feat of engineering, and it's been on duty around the island already. It's been at the International Air Show at Sakhir, and it's recently been down at Bahrain Polytechnic, where 600 children from Bahraini schools have been to discover the secrets of aerodynamics through the design of this beautiful aircraft, which was really ahead of its time.
Any last word?
Yes, it's going to be on the whole summer. I'll let you into a secret, actually. She's a very old lady. She's nearly 80 years old, and probably the climate would be a bit harsh. So she's going to be in this beautiful air-conditioned environment until the 23rd of October. There's a whole display of the aviation history of Bahrain, which is woven into British aviation history, and I would advocate everybody to come and see it. It's fantastic, and it's free.
Thank you very much indeed, Your Excellency.
Thank you.
First of all, good evening. This is another special event out of so many events. This is the 107 event so far. Within this year, 2016, it is the year of celebrating a very special relation between Bahrain and the United Kingdom. We are so happy that our committee is the small committee that's putting together these events are working very hard in trying to do our best if we are looking forward to have 200 events because it is a 200-year celebration. I just want to say that the best thing, one of the nice things about this event is that we are meeting our young leaders who we all are happy to see. We are also happy to support. They are our future, and our job is to make sure that they have a better life ahead of them, because their success is Bahrain's success. And we are so I am so excited about meeting them all and shaking hands with them and encouraging them. And I am so happy that I'm working very close with our friends at the British Embassy in order to make this come true. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Well, I think it's an exciting program. We're delighted from the Bahrain Culture Authority to have the Spitfire on display, and this exhibition showcases a beautiful airplane talking about its history and its legacy between the United Kingdom and the Kingdom of Bahrain. We're delighted this evening to host the special event for the British Ambassador, His Excellency the British Ambassador, and His Excellency the Ambassador from the UK, who's with us this evening with a lot of guests at the museum, and we're happy to showcase the Spitfire as well to a wider audience. I think the bonds between the United Kingdom and the Kingdom of Bahrain have always been really, really strong. Throughout history, the bonds between the two nations are very relevant in politics, in culture, in many things. So I think the two nations have a lot in common, and we continue, of course, this friendship, this dialogue, and I'm delighted that the National Museum in Bahrain is hosting the Spitfire under the umbrella of the Bahrain-UK relations.
Any last word you want to add?
Thank you very much. I'd like you all to have a great time at the museum. It's a different mood in the evening with the lighting and the guests, so I hope everyone enjoys the evening tonight.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much.
Elwood visited Spitfire Expo, which was opened late last May under the patronage of His Majesty King's personal representative Sheikh Abdullah bin Hamad Al Khalifa. The exhibition is part of BACA celebration of the bicentenary of relations binding Bahrain and the United Kingdom. The Spitfire Expo is supported by the BAI Systems and Engineering and the Royal Air Force Museum.
Well, as you know, this year we're celebrating the 200th anniversary of friendship. We have in line a number of events here in Bahrain and in London. We just finished a cultural event where we had 17 artists from Bahrain displaying their art, and it had a huge success in London. This is another event here in Bahrain. Today we also had meetings of the joint working group where a number of projects were discussed. A number of joint projects were discussed, and I think we are celebrating not just the 100 years of friendship, but we're celebrating the closeness of our people, and we see a lot of shared values and interest, and hopefully this will grow in the future. Well, it's exhibitions like this that focuses on our past and focuses on our shared interest and values, and we have a number of events lined up, and hopefully with this and with the future joint programs we will succeed in doing that.
I think it's great, and I'm the director of the British Council in Bahrain, so I'm going to tell you about the Spitfire events from an education point of view. Well, we worked with BAE Systems and the British Embassy and the British Air Force in arranging to establish the Spitfire in the Bahrain Polytechnic with the kind help of the Bahrain Polytechnic people. And the Spitfire was installed there to enable young people to understand a bit more about science, technology, engineering and mathematics, STEM subjects, in order to encourage young people to take engineering degrees and courses. And so a number of young people worked with the British Air Force engineers in assembling the Spitfire in the Bahrain Polytechnic. And then after that, we invited 600 children from a number of secondary schools to come and attend workshops in aerodynamics and in magnetism for the younger kids and things like that, which engaged them in engineering topics and made them understand that these topics were available for study. And so we hope generating a future of engineering experts.
So how did you see the interaction between the students and between this event in particular?
Well, the thing I noticed was they were really engaged with the Spitfire itself, because it's a real aircraft, and it's an antique aircraft, and one of the good things about it is you can really see the features of the wing and the aerodynamics which enable it to fly. So they were really engaged in learning about the mechanics of flight with the Spitfire.
Any last word you want to add?
Yes, I mean we've got the Spitfire working with BAE Systems again here in the museum, and we hope again to invite schools and to encourage young children to understand the aerodynamics of flight and have aeronautics, and encourage them to become engineers and engineering experts in the future.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
Well, it's a very good program, very ambitious. 200 events in 200 years. Celebration. It's amazing that we have achieved almost half of it and more, and we expect to do even better in the future. We believe that this is an occasion that should never be missed, and we're unique amongst all the Gulf states to have that distant relationship, and it is a good relationship and we ought to be proud of it.